All right, how's it going tonight, everybody? We are Three Dudes Reviews featuring Mike,
Terry,
and Foxx.
Hey, what's up? So we're back with our what genre is this? It's not like Marvel or DC superheroes, but like it is.
well, it can be. It just can't be within like the big MCU thing they've got going on now, or the DCU that's kind of fallen a little bit. But
I think our catchy title department's really kind of slacking off on this one.
So non-cinematic universe superhero movies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it really flows.
Well, anyways, we watched Batman Ninja for this. So, Batman Ninja was released 2018. It's directed by Junpei Mizusaki. I hope I said that right. And I'm just going to read the IMDb synopsis for it here. Batman, along with a number of his allies and adversaries, finds himself transplanted from modern Gotham City to feudal Japan. And it's got a 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has, the page isn't loading, but I think it had a 79% critic score on a 49% audience score.
Here, I'm looking it up on mine.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I'll just look it up this time.
Yeah, somebody else look it up.
We got a 79% tomato meter and a 41% audience score.
Okay, so 41%. So this isn't nearly that high rated for a superhero movie. Well, the critic score is pretty decently high, but
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that.
like, what's Suicide Squad's score? Let me look at that.
I feel like that's
Something laughable, I'm sure.
27% tomato meter and 60% audience score. So Suicide Squad had a higher audience score, but anyways, Batman Ninja is like an anime take on Batman, his allies, and the villains he fights. So it's an anime style Batman movie.
And then to add to the matter, it's also takes place in feudal Japan. So it's very anime.
Yeah, it is. So how did he get transported back there? I can't remember that.
Time for some of that TV expertise.
Allow me. Yes, because this is definitely based off of some sort of knowledge in comics that have happened before. I have never seen something like this. I think so. Basically, Gorilla Grodd was making a time machine or something in Arkham Asylum for whatever reason. I guess that's the best place to do that. And Batman goes in to stop him, and he accidentally like activates the thing, and everybody gets sent back in time.
Okay, but they didn't show that in this, did they?
That was the beginning.
There's the whole end, like first 5 minutes was Batman fighting Gorilla Grodd, gets thrown out the window, time distorts, like all the buildings turn into like big wavy wobbly things. Batman's like dodging buildings, and then boom, he's back in time.
I do remember that now that you say that, but it didn't stick with me, you know?
Yeah.
I was watching it. I'm just gonna say a lot of this didn't stick with me too well, but I watched it, so.
It is pretty crazy. I was expecting Batman to be like, it was like just an alternate like Batman set in the Japan right from the beginning, like just.
Yeah, that's what I feel like this was marketed as, you know?
Like an Elseworlds kind of thing.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like modern day Batman getting sent back into feudal Japan, which is kind of, it could be cool, I guess. That's interesting.
He handles it very well. He does not seem all that fazed by it. I must be in feudal Japan. Promptly moves on with plan.
Yes, he does. He accepts it pretty quick.
So what do you guys think about Batman Ninja?
You know, the sheer number of anime tropes in this movie really cracks me up. Even, I mean, outside of like a critical standpoint, I just feel there's a ton of goofy classic tropes they throw into this movie just for the sake of having them in there, and I love it.
There are a lot, like even tropes you're like, surely they wouldn't do this. It's like, oh, wow. Somehow they managed to incorporate giant robots into feudal Japan, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Giant Voltron-esque mechs.
Huh. Somehow we decided we could throw that in here. Cool.
You know, people with like monkey companions hanging out. Never been able to talk to animals before, but I guess in feudal Japan things change.
Yeah, there's just a lot of weird stuff going on in this. Like, even for an anime version, like stuff would happen and I'm like, what? That's kind of dumb, but like cool, but it's more dumb than cool, I think, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. There's a lot of weird choices in here that, like, I can understand why they did it, you know, but It's kind of like, really? You're going to go with this, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just keep going.
It's like, yeah, if I was gonna make an anime Batman, I would not have taken it the direction they took this at the end, especially. 'Cause that was just pretty weird and crazy.
Yeah, I did not expect it to be so over the top. I kind of thought it would be a little more grounded than this.
I think the Joker mech was showcased in the trailer.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I noticed like a giant hand flying around, but yeah, I guess I don't know. I just assumed that was like a one-off kind of thing, but it turned out there's a huge plot point. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I really appreciate how, like, unashamed they are. They never, like, try to pull the reins and be like, whoops, no, we weren't trying to be that ridiculous. They just wholeheartedly, like, dive nose first into these crazy anime tropes. I can appreciate that, at least.
Yeah, that's true. If there's anything, I guess it's like their unabashed entry into the anime genre. Like, yep, here we go. We're gonna hit everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do kind of go balls to the wall. I think some of it's cool, like I like the art style direction they took with some of the characters, making them anime. Like Batman's like samurai suit, even though he's supposed to be ninja Batman.
Good point.
I guess is kind of cool. I mean, it looks cool. Some of the other characters kind of look cool in their anime feudal Japan stuff. I think Deathstroke looked kind of cool,
I did like how he looked.
He's kind of like a pirate, I thought Batman is kind of fat in his samurai outfit.
He did look kind of round, kind of portly.
Yeah.
I think, like, samurai armor makes you look like that,
I think he's getting that authentic cuisine. He was really diving in.
Alfred does mention he's gonna make up a high protein diet.
Yeah, thanks, Alfred. I don't even know why Alfred's in this movie,
You were the one who figured out why he was there.
I mean, like, plot-wise, I feel like if we cut Alfred out, it would not have made any difference.
It would not have made a single bit of difference besides the lack of new and exotic sushi.
I recognize he happened to be close to, like, the crime scene, but, like, just for a fun, like, cameo, I guess. I don't know. We got threw everybody else in here. Why not throw Alfred, too, I suppose?
Yep.
So what's the story again here? The plot kind of confused me, I think. And looking back at it, didn't make much more sense. I just kind of remember they ended up, all of them fighting as big robots, and well, not robots, like houses came together.
So are you looking for, like, the whole plot or just, like, the general setup of the feudal Japan part?
Just the general, like they get there and then he encounters Joker.
I mean, Batman, he got there like 2 years later than everybody else because he was farthest away from the blast or something.
Batman did?
Yeah, and so all the villains that got sent back took hold of like different countries or different.
It's like different clans in Japan that were warring for the shogunate.
Yeah, and so Batman's there. He wants to stop them before they can possibly change history, which I kind of feel like he might have been a little late to that, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's kind of the whole setup. And Grodd, he's kind of he wants to take over all of Japan. He's got to get all his crystals together so he can make his giant robot, I guess.
Okay. It's just looking back on it, it doesn't really stick with me. What sticks with me is the weird, goofy stuff. Like, where did all those bats come from?
I mean, where do all the bats always come from in Batman,
But that was a lot of bats, man. They made like a barrier around the already massive mech thing.
And it wasn't really a mech, it was just thousands upon thousands of monkeys climbing upon each other.
Yeah, like all this just weird stuff happens, and I'm like, even for anime, this is like dumb.
Yeah, and then they combine the bats with them for what purpose? How good of a shield?
Because it makes the old-timey cartoon Batman.
Sure, but
and he's giant.
The whole monkey army is shielded. They all have shields like on their backs and on their chests. What is a layer of bats gonna do to help? I don't understand.
It makes him look cool, TV. It's about the aesthetic. Come on.
Style. Yeah.
You gotta be looking fly.
Like, why are the heroes just standing there watching this and they seem completely unfazed? They're just like, oh, bats, monkeys.
I mean, they've seen some pretty crazy stuff,
I just feel like Mike's got a point there. These heroes are very passive in this story. Like, they don't really do anything. They're not even controlling the bats and the monkeys. Once the monkey formation turns into the giant, like, Batman, like, no one's really controlling it. They're just fighting now. I guess Robin's got his little flute.
I think Batman's, like, controlling it like kind of telepathically. He's like in tune with nature. He's one. He's like a Buddha or something.
He's got the way of the ninja. Sure, okay.
Yeah. Because he does like a ninjutsu thing at the end there.
Batman Ninja, as they so proudly announce.
Oh, they did, didn't they? Oh, I love those. The little title cards. That was so awesome.
I just feel like this whole story, Batman is either not doing anything or he just loses, and like his whole like thing is like for nothing every single time. And then when we finally get to the conclusion, it's not like he's learned anything from this. He just watches as these giant mechs fight each other, and then he fights Joker like he always does.
It was kind of a unique Joker fight.
I think the whole mech thing should have been cut completely. I just think it was completely dumb. Like, I know when we were watching, you guys were like, "Oh," but
Man, I loved it.
No, I agree with you. I was going all more in like a oh.
Man, I was definitely in the oh category.
Who just writes that down and thinks that's a great idea? That's what I'm.
Well, it's so blatantly a ripoff of Voltron. It's awesome. It cracks me up.
But in Batman, I thought they would have like showdown, Batman versus Joker, and then they do the name cards, and then Batman says, "Oh, flying deathbot move," and it zooms in, and Joker's like, "My laughing gas move," like some anime stuff.
What, like some Bruce Lee old martial art film kind of thing?
No, like, in anime where they'll like zoom in on a character. He's like, "I'm about to do my final move," and then they say their move and it zooms out.
Oh, you wanted like some Dragon Ball Batman.
Yeah, some Dragon Ball, Seven Deadly Sins. I thought that would be a lot cooler than, monkey mech and bats and.
I would beg to differ on that point.
Monkey mech sounds like a move, Mike. That's monkey mech formation. And then
That's definitely one of Gorilla Grodd's anime moves.
Batarang flurry.
Oh, man.
I can't even remember if Joker and like the villains were phased by this like horde of monkeys that just like.
I mean, it was like Grodd's plan. I don't know. I think they were like used to it at that point.
They've seen these monkeys before.
I don't know if they have. Grodd was kind of all by himself when they find him. I don't know. He was just chilling in a hot tub.
Can we just talk about the Grodd scene where he like asks Batman to get in a hot tub with him, and then he's like, "No, little shy, are we?"
He did look very chill in that hot tub.
He was so relaxed, so happy. Oh, he kept calling all they were apes. They didn't have tails, but Grodd kept calling them monkeys. Oh my god. Okay, that was like my number one gripe for the movie. Is that Grodd kept calling the apes monkeys.
You would think of all characters that the Grodd would be like, "Hey, they're actually apes, you simpletons." But nope, Grodd even is like, "Yep, monkeys."
Like out of everybody.
And he's just got a magic flute that controls them all, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. They love the sound of that flute.
All of Batman's like sidekicks are there too, which is fine, but none of them do anything either. Except for Red Hood, I guess, kind of, but then he doesn't really do much.
Robin plays the flute.
Oh, right. Cool.
He controls the monkey mech in the beginning.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
With his new monkey pal, who he can speak to and understand.
What a talented young lad. And then he gives it to his two monkey friends, yeah. And they do it for him, and he doesn't do anything.
Because for some reason, there's two monkeys who aren't under the control of Grodd, who just love hanging out with Robin.
Like, none of them, like, what does Nightwing do in this movie?
Not much.
I think at one point he says something like, "They've got us surrounded, Bruce," and that's about the extent.
Red Robin does nothing as well. Red Hood finds the Joker and Harley Quinn with their memories erased, but after that he does nothing. Robin does nothing except for control his monkeys to do his dirty work.
I guess they all get like a little fight scene with like a villain at the end.
That's true.
That was kind of fun. I liked that.
Like, it was fun, but it could have been way cooler if they wouldn't have dinked around with the mechs for, 25 minutes beforehand.
How dare you? I'm deeply offended. I love the mechs and I will stand by them.
It just didn't make much sense to me to be in a ninja Batman movie. Like, I wanted to see Batman being ninja, not freaking monkeys and bats doing the mech stuff.
And how did all those villains know how to build mechs? Like, I can understand Grodd knowing how to do it, but nobody else in that crew except for, I mean, not even Deathstroke, I think, would know how to build an entire mech from scratch, like from feudal Japan technology. I mean, I might be adding a little too much realism to this movie,
I
but
think so. I mean, they like almost make a point without doing so, but they never explain any of this to us. We're just supposed to like accept every single bizarre plot point without any explanation.
I assume it's the crystals. They each have a crystal that like powers something. So I assume that's how they like power their mech. But yeah, I feel like it'd take way longer than 2 years to build these giant mechs. But what do I know? I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, especially in feudal Japan. It's just like the stuff I was expecting from this with some cool ninja Batman action, and I didn't get much of that.
What do you guys think of the art style for this? Are you guys into the whole 3D anime stuff?
Oh, the flattened CG. If it's done well, I like it. And in this case, with that kind of moving watercolor aesthetic, I was really into it.
Yeah, I thought it looked okay. I didn't have any problems with it.
Yeah, it looked better than I expected. I'm usually pretty against that style, but in this case, I was like, yeah, it actually looks pretty good. Like when they're holding still, it looks really good, but when they start moving, it looks a little iffier to me, but it's still, they pulled it off, I think. And there is one point where they like change art styles for like 10 minutes and then they never go back to it again. I don't really understand why they did that. It looked cool. It looked really cool, I thought. Like it's very interesting looking, but what was the point of doing that? I don't know. Did they just like run out of budget for CG? Because I feel like, I don't know.
It made me feel like have you ever seen, what is it, Halo Legends or something?
Yeah.
There where they switch art styles, in between the individual stories. It made me think of that, but then yeah, they just went back to the other one and
Yeah, like if they would have done like a different art style for like each of the sidekicks, their story, what they've been doing, that would have been cool. But they only do it for Red Hood for like 10 minutes and then it's done.
I forgot that even happened, That's how memorable it was for me, I guess.
I guess the only like reason I can think of is that they were trying to like showcase that the Joker and Harley Quinn were like different, kind of obscure. Because it was a very like vague art style. There was a more kind of shapes and colors than actual defined figures in it.
Yeah, it looked like a watercolor painting kind of almost. Like it's so smooth.
Let's talk about the difference between the sub and the dub. We watched the dub and then went and watched the sub. And the dialogue was quite a bit different from what we saw. Like, we didn't watch the whole time.
Felt like the sub version was like serious, more directly stating. I felt like the Joker puns were kind of removed from the sub, whereas in the dub, like everything the Joker says was like a pun or some kind of joke.
Yeah, which is pretty fitting, I guess, for the Joker.
Well, I don't think any of us wanted to subject ourselves to the watching it again, Maybe just me.
I don't know, Fox is pretty into it. He might have wanted to.
I wonder how if that serious nature went through it the whole way, and then how they tackled the completely ridiculous stuff that happens later.
I'm sure they just don't ever address it and just keep responding in very serious tones. Yeah.
I will say I wasn't a big fan of the Joker voice actor. He kind of was annoying. I thought his voice was really grating to me, but everybody else was pretty decent, I thought.
I think we're just like almost spoiled by Mark Hamill,
He's amazing, yeah.
I think he said he's done doing the Joker, though, because it hurts his voice too bad.
That makes me sad.
I think I read that somewhere, but I'm not for sure, so don't hold me to it.
I know he said that when he did Arkham Knight, but I think he's done stuff since then, so I do not know.
Like, the guy doing the Joker voice wasn't bad, but if just hearing Mark Hamill do it, he's definitely the best, I think,
That's true. It might just be my nostalgia kicking in, but yeah, I just was iffy on this new guy.
I mean, if I had any gripe besides the monkeys, yeah, he just wasn't quite what I want from the Joker.
Wait, did you not like the monkey voice act? What?
Well, I disliked that they kept calling them monkeys. My
Oh.
two big complaints were the monkey name.
I thought you were talking about voice acting.
Yeah, those monkeys, they were so chatty. They just wouldn't shut up the whole movie. What did you guys think about so the end of it, after we've had the big mech battle, all the other villains have been subdued, and then there's this final showdown with the Joker and Batman.
I thought that was pretty cool. That fight was pretty awesome, I thought, actually. Pretty cool duel between the samurai, even though they're supposed to be ninjas, I think.
That's more of what I wanted from this movie, was that kind of stuff. but it's very minimal in here.
Seemed kind of odd to me, but TV, you would probably know best. Is it like common for the Joker to fight the Batman and be able to like keep up with him and even get some licks in here and there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know where his like fighting stuff is, but usually when they do have a showdown, there's a pretty fair trade between the blows. Like he's just so like unpredictable and wild. I think there's Batman's problem with him, but it seems like in the more recent comics he can usually he's not as good, but he can keep his footing usually.
He definitely does some fancy footwork in this sword duel, which I enjoyed the animation of quite a bit. I thought it was a cool, like if you just like took that little scene, be some cool sword fight animation.
Yeah, it looked pretty good, and yeah, the fight itself was pretty like action packed, I thought. But yeah, it is kind of weird to see, the Joker swinging like a samurai sword around. But he was there for 2 years. Maybe he practiced, I guess.
He's been waiting for Batman to get there.
Yeah, he's had 2 years of sword training by the Japanese masters themselves.
And building mechs.
Oh, right, yeah. Where does he find the time? I liked his henchmen. I thought his henchmen all looked really cool with the Joker masks.
Oh, yeah.
It did kind of crack me up when Batman fights a bunch of these dudes before he knows what's going on. And he's like, who do you work for? And it's like blatantly just like Joker faces on their faces. I'm like, I wondered, Batman. Deductive reasoning might tell you who it is. Maybe some detective work.
It's a mystery, even to the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, there's these strange clown faces and all these samurai with green hair. What is this? How mysterious.
I did like how all the various villain henchmen seem to have their own unique samurai armor style.
Didn't the Penguin actually have penguins?
He had penguins in armor waddling around his lair.
I wish we would have got to like see them do something. I wish there would have been a penguin mech, All the other animals get mechs.
His mech was lame, I think, out of all of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, his penguins didn't make it, though. That's the problem.
Oh, you want like a penguin mech to fight the monkey mech?
Yeah, why did all the other animals get that?
Just when I thought it couldn't get any better, you've done it, TV. Part 2 coming up.
Don't encourage them.
Just see these penguins like waddling like, like 0.5 miles an hour, just boink, 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 trying to climb on top of each other, just slipping around like.
Get away from the animals. We don't need more animals. All right, so overall presentations?
Yeah. So our scale is from burn it, pass, watch it, buy it. Just so everybody knows. I know we've been slacking on telling everybody.
I think I'm going to need like a more in-depth analysis before I like give my rating. Lay the scale on me again. What is this we're talking about here? How does this work?
Allow me to reiterate.
I'm sorry, it's my first time.
When we say burn it, that means we really hate the movie and we wish it was just gone. Pass means it was bad, but not bad enough to warrant burning. Maybe there's some redeemable stuff in there. Watch it, pretty good. Watch it once in your life, you're fine. If you miss it, that's okay, but it's worth it. Buy it, it's amazing. Everybody needs to see this. Does that sound right?
Wow, thanks.
You're welcome.
That was helpful.
Yep. There you go, everyone.
Thanks, TV. All right, so I didn't like this movie very much. I thought it was kind of dumb. With the stuff that happens, kind of hard for me to follow some of this stuff. And what I wanted was some cool anime ninja Batman stuff, and I got a bunch of monkeys and bats going around a mech, like big mech things fighting, and I was just like, this is dumb. Like, I don't know who wrote that down and was like, this would be awesome. But then maybe they did that and then they saw it on screen and were like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. I feel like maybe that's what happened, But they just roll with it and they don't explain anything. I'm going to give this a heavy pass. I had some beers when I watched this and I still thought it was dumb. Yeah, I just wanted some cool anime ninja Batman stuff and didn't really get much of that. So I definitely see why this is getting some heat from audience reviews.
That's fair. I definitely went into this expecting the same thing as Mad Mike, some epic ninja Batman awesomeness, some stealth takedowns, some crazy martial arts fights. Don't really get a lot of that. That's pretty minimal. But what I got instead, I think makes me equally as happy. I love a giant mech battle. I mean, growing up with Mobile Suit Gundam and Voltron being like my favorite shows as a kid, this was awesome. And it's just hilarious, I think, how unashamed they are. And they're just like tossing in all these ridiculous anime tropes from like the 90s that are just so over the top and I feel like merit some explanation, but never receive any at all. So, I'm gonna give this one a buy it, guys. I mean, I would watch this again like over and over and over. I mean, I could see myself burning like a disc out on this one. I love this thing. It was awesome. I mean, I definitely had a few brews when we were watching it, but it just made me so happy. I think if you go into this with like the mindset of it's just gonna be ridiculous, over the top, like nonsensical even at some point, you'll probably be okay, but for the love of God, don't go in expecting awesome ninja Batman.
Don't go in expecting the title of the movie.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad idea. A warning to consumers.
It is not what it appears to be, yes. I think you've got a good point there. If my expectations had been a little different, maybe I'd have enjoyed this better. Maybe if it was like Mecha Batman or Samurai Batman, I would be a little more happy with it because there is a severe lack of Batman being a ninja. They don't even reveal Batman as Batman Ninja until like the last like 10 minutes of the movie. And apparently they like take it like there's a whole montage of them training to learn the ways of the ninja, and Batman comes out in samurai gear and you're like, wait a second, Batman? It's just, I was hoping for something a little more grounded, I think. The monkeys were a little much for me. The bats forming onto the monkeys to create like a weird super tall Batman was a way bit much for me. There's a lot of passive characters in this. None of them do really anything much. Like, I don't know why all these sidekicks are here. And even Batman, one of the least passive characters I know in like fiction, doesn't even do anything. He just kind of like waits until stuff happens to him. I don't even think the monkeys were part of his plan. It's kind of disappointing, I think. I was kind of hoping for more Batman action. The art style was okay. I'm usually against the 3D stuff, but I thought this looked pretty decent for the most part. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a pass. I think it was just too much for me. Maybe if I'd gone in with different expectations, I would have liked it, but I don't know. Something about giant mech houses in feudal Japan and giant mechs made out of monkeys really it really did not sit right with me for some reason.
I'm same way. Like, I love a good mech battle, but it just, the way they did it in this, it just didn't fit at all.
Why not send them into the future if you want to do a giant mech battle?
Because then we wouldn't have a reason for it to be giant monkeys.
I see.
Like, I was thinking, the Batmobile was going to be like this carriage, that Batman makes up, and then, I don't know. Just, I want more Japan stuff, not... How does he even control the bats? They just, like, show up.
He's in tune with nature.
We forgot to mention that they did introduce, like, a new character who's, like, the leader of the Bat Clan. I think he was the one controlling the bats. I would assume. I don't know. Yeah. And once again, even this new character, like, does not do anything, like, at all.
I guess that, there might be just too many characters in this show. That might be part of the problem, I suppose. If it was to have a flaw.
If we didn't have 6 different villains, how would we make Voltron, Foxx?
Exactly. That's my whole... See, there's too many heroes. We got to keep the villains and just do one hero, There's no room.
Why couldn't, in that, like, weird montage, why couldn't Batman and, like, all his friends built little mechs for themselves and, like, combined to make their own instead of having random monkeys that have nothing to do with the bats in the slightest? For the Bat Clan to be using monkeys, that doesn't make any sense. Just because they have Grodd on their side.
They didn't have a crystal. They couldn't power it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean apes when I say monkeys. I'm sorry.
You do mean apes.
Well, I guess that evens out to a pass for Ninja Batman. So there you go. 3 dudes reviewed a pass for Ninja Batman.
Yep, there it is.
So sad. Overruled. The cruel hammer of justice.
What are we doing next time?
I believe it's your pick, Mad Mike.
All right. Well, I want to watch Unbreakable. I've never seen it before. We saw a trailer for Glass, the new one coming out before Halloween, the newest Halloween. So yeah, I need to see Unbreakable. I know a lot of people like it quite a bit, so So I'm excited to watch it. So be sure to tune in next time to see what we think about it.
And hey, if you want to keep up with us, we have a Twitter now and we have Facebook. So that's just under just look up 3 Dudes Reviews on Twitter, Facebook. And that's where you can find us. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, most podcast services. If we're not on one, let us know and we can see what we can do. Feel free to get in touch.
Yeah, hit us up. We'd love to hear what you say. So
Come hang out, have a brew, watch a movie.
Yeah, let us know what you think of Batman Ninja, if you so dare to watch it.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for listening to us tonight, guys. We really appreciate it. This is 3 Dudes Reviews, signing off.